Hello everybody, I hope you are doing good. Personally, I'm doing pretty well. I don't know if many of you were waiting for the next video of this little series, if I can call it that way, but there is a number 6 of my showcase video on the AV-8C. So today, as I said, I want to introduce the AV-8C in the American Tech Tree in 9.7 BR. To be honest, this is an awesome plane, probably one of the best at this BR. But unfortunately, its player base is garbage, probably because of its little brother the AV-8A, the premium versions, and its level 13 bias, but anyway, we're not there to talk about it. The C version and the A1 are the same BR, this is almost a copy-paste, but the A1 is premium, almost the same stat card. I say almost because the C version loses 4 kph at its max speed, and 0.3 meters per second on its climb rate. But this is only on the stat card, it doesn't make any difference in game. They are exactly the same. I'm doing a little comparative between them because unfortunately in game we see a lot more of the A version than the C one. And if I can bring you back to the reason about buying it when you can't get it free in the tech tree, I at least want to try. Their payloads are kind of the same. Same missiles, same bombs, same rockets, anyway they are the same plane. There is just a little difference on the A version, so the premium one. Its flares are below the fuselage on a big flare pod and you get 240 of them. To be honest, I don't really know if in game it makes a big difference since I have never played the A1, but having a pod right under the fuselage is never pretty good. This is a useless extra rate and sometimes that could make a difference in a dogfight. But anyway, this is just a flare pod, we are not talking about a big bomb load or something. But I only wanted to say it's a little okay, but it's an extra rate if you can compare it to the C version that it has this one under its tail. The C one has only 61s, but with the flare buff that we got a couple of months ago, trust me, it's gonna be really enough. Only a little click and the missiles gets instantly drunk. They both get the same flare combination. I mean standard, chaff only, mixed, etc. At this BR in 9.7, I advise you to get flares reinforced or the standard ones. You're not gonna need the chaff really often. Other missiles you're gonna meet at this BR are either on your side or from mirages with their Alpha 30. Anyway, if you feel better about having both, take mixed ones, that's on you. That's just an advice, you don't really need this at this BR. Also, the C1 has a RWR and the A1 doesn't. Kinda useless at this BR anyway, and its constant beep beep are pretty annoying, so it doesn't matter if you play the A version. Even better in my opinion. End of the comparison. Except flares, they are the same. Now I'm gonna talk about the plane, generally. As I said, it is in the American Tech Tree, in 9.7 BR, in tier 6, right after the FG4B and right before the A7D. Its armament is composed of two 30mm cannon add-on Mark IV below its fuselage in gun pod. In game it's not considering as they are gun pods, but they are. It only has two 60 rounds, 130 per cannons. It's a decent armament, pretty powerful. As I said before, the C1 has 60 flares, and I think with the flare buff we got, that's pretty enough. Only a couple of clicks when you see the missile coming, and it's okay. Anyway, missiles at this BR are most of the time 10 or 50 Gs only. And about R60s, that are 30 Gs, they are one of the most sensitive flares, so even with only one click it's enough to make it drunk. Now let's talk about its secondary weapons. First of all, its missiles. It has 2 AIM-9G, rare aspect, and they can take 18 Gs. Honestly, they are pretty good at this BR. Not the best, but they are more than decent. Mostly if you meet planes with no flares like Su-7, MiG-15 bis, MiG-17, 19, first mirages or even some F-104 for example. Just play them, they are pretty good. I think you don't know how much I'm sick of seeing people carrying bombs only to go and get one base or some ground targets in ARB. It's probably one of the best fighter at this BR. Play it as it is, as a fighter. I know that for low level players it's more simple to spawn with bombs, go and get some min-map AAA or some pillboxes and dying without being useful for your team, but trust me, play with your team. Go and get some enemies, even only one is gonna be a great aid for your team in the road to victory. Way more than if you only kill 2 or 3 mid-map AA and then crashing or at least being killed by a higher fighter that you didn't see because you were too focused on your shit. If you die without doing anything useful for your team, you're gonna get way more chases to lose the game. And if you lose it, you're gonna get way less RP and silver lions at the end. I know it's hard to believe for some people, but play smart. It's gonna pay, sooner or later. The AV-8 is considered as a naval and a strike aircraft. Apparently, in real life, it was one, but in-game, it doesn't fit like that. You got 3 types of bombs, 250, 500 and 1000 pounds, with a few combinations. You can take some rocket pods, some FFAR with 28, 38 or 76 rockets, depends of how many pods you take, that's on you. Also some Zunimax 32 rockets, either 8, either 16. Depends if you take 2 or 4 pods. And that's it. For a strike aircraft, it feels a bit light to me. I advise you to take SORs, only if you play it in tank battle. But if you only play ARB, please take missiles only. The Harrier was the first VSTOL, or VSTOL, I don't know if I trigger some of you, I don't know how it is supposed to sound, but it means vertical takeoff and landing. The Harrier was too heavy to take off vertically with its combat armament, so they were taken off as a normal naval aircraft and they were landing vertically. But I'm talking about in real life. I'm there to introduce it as it is in game. Now I'm gonna talk about the thrust vector. The basic cabins are R plus U and R plus J. Free to you to change it. Personally, that's what I did. But if you don't touch it at all, that's gonna be exactly as a normal aircraft with a normal engine. And if you are not comfortable with the thrust vector control, this is what I advise you to do. You don't need this to land or to take off. It's gonna be way longer if you try to take off or to land vertically. Trust me, you'll do it once to see how it looks and then you will never do it no more. This is faster and way more safe. If you're not very careful by landing vertically, your chances to crash are massive. Personally, I found it way harder to land an AV-8 vertically than a helicopter. That's not a chopper. This doesn't respond the same way. And I guess now the biggest question about it is, does it possible to take advantages with a thrust vector control in a dogfight? And the answer is yes and no. It depends on the actual situation and obviously how stupid is the enemy you're facing. But sometimes, in some cases, in a low speed dogfight, this can make the difference. For example, to make overshoot the dude you're dogfighting or to turn faster when you two are very slow. As I said, it depends of the situation, depends of a lot of things, but sometimes, yeah, that can help. And when you win a dogfight or that you succeed to reverse someone that way, this is so fucking satisfying. Anyway, most of the time, keep it at 0% and don't use it every time you meet another player. Use it when you don't have choice, because this makes you bleed your speed damn fast. I mean, even more than usually. Obviously, as a strike aircraft, it has an airspawn. And trust me, that's not an help. I'm gonna explain myself right after in case this is not obvious enough. Its engine overheats very fast. Unless if you want to make a big distance between you and a faster enemy chasing you, don't go higher than 92 or 93 of your throttle. And trust me, even with that you're gonna be faster than many planes you're gonna face. Also, you've got a WEP, but obviously don't use it. You're gonna kill your engine in not even 2 minutes. I mean it, really, don't. Its acceleration is completely insane. Its roll rate is very good, good top speed, pretty good crane rate, and very good armament as well. I advise you to play it with main fuel. That's 9 minutes when your plane is painted. That's enough to me, and this is a big gain of weight. But if this is not enough to you, take 20 minutes. Play it with boosters. Personally, I have never ripped in this plane, so you can keep it checked, I guess. This is an awesome fighter, but it's not the best at everything. It doesn't turn very good, it bleeds a lot of speed when you turn. You can get it back pretty fast because of its acceleration, but if you don't pay attention to it, you might be very slow very fast. And I think you already know what happens when you get slow in jet. Careful with it. So, as I said before, it has an airspawn, but I recommend you to change it before taking off to take off at the airfield. For the simple reason that you don't need this. You already take off super fast anyway, and in that case, you're not gonna be alone mid-map against the whole team doing 1v6 or something. Not a really good deal. Take off at the airfield with the other players, you're gonna start to fight in 2 or 3 minutes instead of 30 seconds, but at least you're not gonna be alone in first line to die instantly. To me, this is really a big joke that this thing can have an airspawn. Only because in real life it was designed as a strike aircraft, so in game this is one. No takeoff, only airspawn. What a bullshit. Okay, sometimes this is cool when things are historically accurate, but only when it fits with a good gameplay. But most of the time, unfortunately, this makes the game fucking cancer. Gaijin only cares about historical accurate only when they want to. Guys, in that case, just give an airspawn to the MiG-15 It was designed to be intercepting B-29s in Korea. This is why it has this kind of armament. Make it an interceptor, no? No, because this would be fucking cancer and completely illogical. This is the same shit about AV-8 and the other Harriers. This doesn't make any sense. So I told you about the AV-8C and A, which are the American export versions of the British Harrier GR.1 and GR.3. Now let's talk about the British ones. In the game we got 4 Harriers, AV-8A, C, the Harrier GR.1 and GR.3. The GR.3 is kind of a copy-paste of the AV-8C. Same FM, same armament, same flares, same BR, etc. Just one thing, it doesn't have an RWR. The AV-8C is the only version that has one in the game. But at this BR, as I said, this is not very useful. And its beep beep only making me crazy. Thank you Gaijin, pretty good ad. The Atlas crew set a keybind to turn it down as they did for the radar, but probably too much work anyway. And about the GR1, this is a premium version of the British ones, which is in 10.0 BR. This is kind of the same of the GR3, but with 4 fucking SRAM. And if you don't know about SRAMs, I let you go watch my video or whatever video you can find about these bullshit missiles. This is completely bullshit. Okay, they don't have a big range, you have to send them no more than 1.5 kilometers away of your target. They are very sensitive to flares. But dude, if this fucking plane succeeds to get close enough to you and you don't have flares, you just cannot dodge it. You're more than 100% dead. This is insane how much that shit is broken. Just think about MiG-19, Su-7 or whoever man that they are playing a thing with no flares at this BR. And I remind you one thing, when this came up, it was 9.3. No comment. And the big problem of this plane is that this is buyable with Golden Eagles. If you don't get it, that means that at every sold out, every 50% off, this is a fucking spam of this shit. And the BR between 9.0 and 10.3 is just unplayable if you're against Britain. And when the GR1 is against 11.0, it is useless, because it doesn't have any flares and people in front have too much. The plane is too slow and planes at this BR are too fast to make SRAM efficient. But when it is 10.0 or 10.3 top tier, this is probably the most cancerous plane in the game. Anyway, please, just don't buy it. This is just cancer as hell. For other players, but also for you. Purely fun, you're gonna get up tier. So against people that you're not gonna be able to fight because your missiles will be useless at an higher BR. And I remind you that you don't have flares in 10.0. So the first missile coming just will make your plane blows up. Just keep your money or buy something useful, that's an advice. For the rest, that's on you. Anyway, I'm not an expert, I perhaps said some bullshit, I spoke about my feeling about this plane and about my experience in it. Anyway, to sum up briefly about AV-8C, good armament, good missiles, legit maneuverability but not the best one. Awesome acceleration, blitzy speed very fast but gets his back very fast as well. This is a very good plane, one of the best at 9.7. Well, if you don't know my channel, I also make kill montages and dogfight montages. If you want to check it out, I really would appreciate it. I also got a Discord server, but if you don't speak French, I don't recommend you to come in. It's mainly French. Then if you want to join it anyway and that you want to talk about War Thunder or something in English, we are gonna answer with pleasure. You are welcome to. Link is in the description below. I hope you have enjoyed the video and that it has been a bit useful to you. I hope my English was good enough to you folks and that it wasn't too much painful to hear all the video long. Thank you guys for watching until the end. Please leave a like if you liked the video and let me know in comment if it has been useful to you or if you're not okay with things I said. I will answer with pleasure. Subscribe to see my future videos and see you next time.